Okay, so either we can focus on distractions or we can keep it moving. And since my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, I'm gonna keep it moving. So to he who has ears, let him hear. I'm going to tell you the end game. What is the end game? What is all of this about? I'm going to tell you what the distractions are all about so that you are not fooled. Many creators have pointed out that we are in the midst of the biggest wealth transfer in history. Okay, so it's all about inheritance. And when you're closing the old books and you're opening the new books, what the challenge is to retain as much of the wealth as possible and to have the people who had the poverty as an inheritance in the old book also have a poverty as an inheritance in the new book. But we want to give you a fighting chance, and that's why I've come up with some very simple definitions of things that if you only remember the definition, you will not be fooled. Now, most don't know what wealth means. Wealth, according to the book Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, the late great William Cooper, it is defined as resources and social energy. I think that's a pretty good definition. So wealth is not money. Wealth is not riches. These things are wonderful, but they are not wealth. Now, money is the primary trick that the truly wealthy, the elites, use to keep the poor poor. They are having you chase a medium of exchange. It's like thinking you have women because you have access to their DMs. You like, dog, I'm talking to 100 girls right now. But that's poverty because the person in those DMs does not have real women. That DM is not a woman, AI is not a woman, and money is not wealth. So let me give you a definition of wealth I want you to remember. I think it's going to be really helpful. Wealth is anything that has value when money no longer has any value. So if the dollar were to collapse tomorrow, no, today, what would still have value? That's wealth. So if you have a garden and you're growing apples, then the man at the gas station will say, hey, I can give you some gas for those apples. You have wealth. So if you want to get a pen and a paper, I've listed the 10 things that constitute real wealth. And I'm going to tell you why this is important after I list these 10 things. Number 1, family. Number 2, legacy. Number 3, safety and security. Number 4, information and know-how. Number 5, resources. Number 6, land. Number 7, property. Number 8, ability to manufacture. Number 9, talent. Number 10, reputation. Now, the dollar is bolstered on the full faith and confidence of the United States of America. But the rest of the world is getting tired of that. So the BRICS nations are saying, we don't want to play that game anymore. We want something that constitutes real wealth. Now, of course, this game began in 1933 when America moved away from the gold standard and decided that they were going to use fiat currency. But of course, this creates these bubbles, and bubbles eventually collapse. So if and when this bubble collapses and the global marketplace doesn't care about your money, what do you have that constitutes real wealth? Now, people who don't have anything will continue to act poorly, and poverty of mind eventually creates poverty of spirit. So it doesn't matter how much money a person has. If a person has poverty of mind and a lack of wealth consciousness, I just listed what real wealth is, then that person is going to act poorly. Now, of course, we have a lot of bread and circus in America that is designed to distract us and to have us looking at something and thinking it's wealth. But if you look at the average rapper doesn't really have family that they take care of. They don't have a legacy that they're leaving. They don't have any safety or security. People are always gunning for them. They don't have any real information or know-how. So aside of those raps, they can't really tell people anything that's valuable. They don't have any real real access to resources. The house that they built is on land that's owned by the government. They might have a little bit of property, yes. Some of them don't have the ability to manufacture. Stuff that they manufacture is manufactured in other countries. They may have a little bit of talent, and they may have a decent reputation until their reputation is destroyed by the people who own them. So if you're wondering why the hood remains the hood and the ghetto remains the ghetto, and why poverty is the inheritance of each and every generation, it is because we don't understand what wealth is. Now, countries that have moved to a communal wealth standard, those are some of the best places in the world to live right now. And places where black and brown people have historically lived, we have been tricked into accepting some kind of debt instrument as wealth, and they take the real wealth, which is the resources, which is the land, which is the people resources, and they use the real wealth. So we gotta wake the hell up. But part of waking up is to stop worshiping the image of anybody else. And so that's the first trick that they play, is to have you worship an image of something other than yourself. And once that's done, they can backdoor you with just about anything and you accept it. So go back, look at that list, write that list down, and see how your wealth aligns with that particular list, and that's how you can tell just how wealthy you are. Now, you can have money, and money makes things a little bit easier for the moment, and you can have riches, and that adds to the spice of life for the moment, but neither of those things is true wealth. A truly wealthy person would be disgusted if you even mentioned money when you were talking about wealth. So think about that.
There was an airplane that just crashed into a building in California and ignited a massive plume of smoke and a fire at this same building. This plane crash took place around 5 p.m., where it was observed that a plane crashed into a giant furniture warehouse where there were employees before erupting in smoke. Police are saying they were able to evacuate the employees inside the building, but they still don't know how many people were aboard this plane. They're saying firefighters are evacuating a commercial building that caught fire after a plane crashed into it, and these evacuations are still underway. It's being reported that this plane is a small plane, but they don't know how many people was on it, which I don't understand how you don't know a small plane and how many people are on it, but whatever. They're saying it was not immediately known how many people were injured in the crash, according to the Fullerton Fire Department in California, and they are still trying to get people evacuated. Of course, all of this comes right after what happened in New Orleans, Texas, and at the Trump Tower. And Sugar Bowl tickets in New Orleans are now $11. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Not at all. I pay too much money and rent to be outside fighting for my life. That's a fact. Pray everyone survives. Yeah, everybody up against the wall. That's crazy. And obviously, they still driving around looking. I feel like a reporter. Well, I am a reporter, but I feel like a news reporter now. No, I was inside. I just came from the store though. Snuck in Bora Bora for a matcha bowl.
It's January 2nd, second day in 2025, and we already have 2 mass casualties. The first one was New Year's Eve in New Orleans, where we obviously know a terrorist drove into a crowd of people, injuring and taking the lives of many. He himself was taken out in exchange of fire with police officers. Several hours later, we had a Tesla truck blow up, not on its own. They stated that there were things inside the Tesla truck, and the actual make of the Tesla truck stopped the explosion from being worse than what it would have been in front of a Trump Tower in Las Vegas. A few hours after that, we have a mass shooting at a club in Queens, where it's stated about 3 to 4 heavily armed individuals approached a crowd in a club and started blasting off, injuring several people. The police do not know the motive of this shooting. The assailants have not been arrested. However, they confidently state that this is not a terrorist act. So you have no idea why they did this, who they are, where they are, but you're confident that this is not a terrorist act. The same way that the FBI DEI spokesman stated that New Orleans was not a terrorist attack. It seems as though the gaslighting is severe, but we, the people, are no longer falling for it. We require and need answers. This is unacceptable. The law enforcement, the people, the agencies that we put in place to protect the Americans are hiding the truth from us, and they are assuming that we are too dumb to figure it out. Negativo. Something is popping off.
Hey, Erika. Okay, so I just got off the phone with public information officer with the U.S. Capitol Police. He says this investigation outside of the Capitol is still very much underway. It's been going on since right before 10 o'clock, and we can now tell you that somebody is in custody. Somebody has been arrested on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol building this morning. In fact, I'm going to read the full statement that we got from Capitol Police right now. It says, before 10 a.m., our officers spotted a car that had been driving along the sidewalk near Pierce Circle and into the grassy area near 3rd Street Northwest and Constitution Avenue. Officers took the man in custody. They're still asking people to stay clear of this area. In fact, several roads are now closed. We have video showing the moment that arrest took place. We do not have information on who this suspect is. We just saw our News 4 cameras capturing the moment that they were handcuffed and put into the back of a U.S. Capitol Police cruiser. This happened just moments ago. And again, the investigation's still very fluid, still ongoing. We really haven't seen any emergency vehicles leave the scene yet. But that's the latest right now. Somebody arrested for driving on the grassy area just west of the Capitol building. Important to note, although again, we don't have a lot of confirmed details about this now, that is the side of the Capitol that President-elect Trump is going to be sworn in on. That's where they do all the inaugurations. So this happened on that side of the Capitol. If you're familiar, the National Mall is this way, and you can see they've actually closed off some of the sidewalks, closing 3rd Street Northwest here while this investigation continues. There's quite a bit of a perimeter outside of the Capitol right now as this investigation continues. But we can tell you one man was arrested just moments ago here outside of the Capitol for driving on a grassy patch here.
All right, Joseph Vilma, and of course, in lieu of all of the breaking news that we've had over the last 24 hours, thank you for keeping us up to date on what's happening right here in front of the Capitol. Joseph, thank you.
Well, this is what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be more of these kind of mass casualty events. I think there's going to be something weird on January 6th. Now, this is where it gets weird, Bubba. This terrorist attack that just happened in New Orleans before the college football playoff. You know, the Super Bowl is going to be there February 9th. I'm actually speaking at LSU on February 10th, my alma mater, so I think I'm going to go down there for the Super Bowl and see what's going on. But there's going to be some sort of event in New Orleans at the Super Bowl, Bubba. I called it here first. Just wait. Something weird's going to happen. I guarantee it.
Just because, well, that will be after the inauguration, though. Obviously,
that will be after the inauguration. That'll be February 9th.
I think if anything is going to happen, it's going to happen prior to the inauguration. Once the inauguration happens, I think that, okay, we got what we got. People that don't like it, whatever. You've had your opportunity to throw a fit. Now let's just let him settle into his first 100 days, and let's.
Yeah, it's going to be the opposite. They're not going to try to let him settle at all. They're going to try to keep up the heat, because this is the difference. When Kamala and Biden are in office, they want to try to appease us. They want to make us at least seem like things are okay. But when Trump is in office, you're going to have all of these rogue agents trying to make it as chaotic as possible and trying to make us put as much pressure on Trump as possible.
Both of the men that were behind the attacks yesterday have deep connections to each other. Both of these men, the one behind the cybertruck Vegas outside Trump Tower attack and the man behind the New Orleans attack, both of them served in the U.S. Army. Their connection does not stop there. In 2012, they were both stationed in Fort Bragg together. Both of the cars yesterday that were used to carry out the acts of violence were rented through the Turo app. Turo is essentially the Airbnb of car renting. You can rent out your own car, and the cars that were used yesterday were both rented out through the Turo app. Now, there are a lot of people in the U.S. Army. There's a lot of people that are stationed at Fort Bragg. And there are also a lot of people that use the Turo app. But to have all of that and then also carry out what they carried out yesterday on the same day in separate cities, It doesn't. I just ran the numbers. It doesn't add up. And we all know Rule 18 of Jack Mack's life rules. Coincidences don't exist. Coinky dinks don't exist. And it's also worth noting, on top of all of this, Ryan Ruth, the individual that was arrested for trying to assassinate Donald Trump on his golf course in Florida, visited Fort Bragg 147 times over the past 4 years, staying overnight on 29 occasions. I don't like that one bit.
And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. You can see the cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard. That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet.
The dead man recovered from the vehicle has been named as Matthew Allen Livelsberger, a 37-year-old Green Beret, who was with the 10th Special Forces. He had served in Afghanistan and was on leave at the time. He too had crossed state lines, driving the electric Tesla Cybertruck from Colorado to Nevada, recharging at various points along the way. The FBI says the vehicle was first spotted on the street early on New Year's Day, pulling into the hotel for the first time just after 7 in the morning, and then returning to park in the valet area just an hour later. It exploded 17 seconds after coming to a standstill. The agent said the man inside the Tesla had shot himself before it went up in flames.
There is no definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas.
Bullshit. And I don't like it. Bullshit. I don't give a. They just said, the FBI saying that driver that did that horrific New Orleans massacre acted alone and ain't no connection to what happened in Vegas. Y'all, both of these lunatics served at Fort Bragg, same military base. But we in the very beginning of this investigation and you already saying ain't no connection? To me, that means there is a connection. Check it out. That's the dude, Livelsberger, whatever. That's the guy that the Vegas thing. He was in Fort Bragg. And then the other guy, last name Jabbar, military duty, Fort Bragg. They both served in Afghan war, stationed at the same base. They both used Turo car sharing app. They both used electric trucks. And both these assholes did this on the same day. Look, I'm still digging. I'm not going to say that it's definitely a link. I'm still researching. But I will say I'm not buying what this motherfucker's saying. I'm out.
3 phones linked to Jabbar have been recovered, and digital media exploitation is a priority to see what is on the devices and determine if there are any other potential leads. Additionally, we have recovered 2 laptops and are currently reviewing them for any potential leads. Those laptops were recovered at the Mandeville address.
Like around 3:15, everybody just chilling, we having a good time, music playing and all that. A truck, I didn't know it was a Ford F-150, I thought it was like a Yukon or something. A truck hits the corner and comes barreling through people, throwing people like a movie scene, like real life, throwing people into the air, they falling under the car, all that. And a good friend of mine actually passed away from getting hit by it. And you know the little divots in the wall just like this? So this is what a lot of people jumped into to get away from the truck. But yeah, so after it gets past us, the guy, I didn't know it was a terrorist, but the guy ends up getting out and shooting people. Like he had ARs and bombs and all that, man. But the aftermath was really what got me, like bodies all up and down the street. Everybody screaming and hollering. You look down, you see somebody doing CPR. You look around, people crying on the floor, like brains matter all over the ground. And yeah, it really hurt me to see like one of my closest friends like that. So we ran one way. So like about 5 feet away from the curb, and we ran into the bar to be protected by the little divot. And I'm supposing, I could have sworn she was behind me, but now that I'm doing the math, it's seeming like she ran a different direction. But I was assuming she was behind me. So when I ran into there, her cousin was also with me, her best friend was also with me. So I saw her, and then I'm moving people out of the way to try and find her because she's quite small. So I'm moving people out of the way to try and find her. I'm saying, nah, like, where is she? And I turned my head, and it's her in the street, just leaking blood. And I knew. She looked peaceful though. I'm glad she went peacefully. Well, she was about to go to college actually in about 2 weeks. About to go to college. She works at a hospital making good money right now, but she wanted to be an RN, a travel nurse. But we were at the bar, the Desires, and hit her and flung her like at least 30 feet. At least 30 feet. And yeah, man, I was lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be alive right now. This is my first time being in Bourbon, by the way. So, like, insane first experience. I'll never come back. Like, you won't ever see me here again. But I think it was Desires or some along right across from Voodoo Chicken. So, we were right across from there, and then everything started to unfold. It was insane, man. Like, the real closest thing to a war zone I've ever seen, truly.
An arrest of a man in Virginia led to the largest seizure of homemade explosives in the FBI's history. Federal prosecutors say agents found the stash at Brad Spafford's home after arresting him on a firearms charge 2 weeks ago. They recovered more than 150 explosives, most of them pipe bombs.
Identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle.
Whoa, no, what's happening with y'all? Like to check this out. Who go keen for that one thing, it's another. Something in the milk ain't clean about this. So you mean to tell me you have two soldiers, highly decorated, spent a lot of time in the service, decided to wake up one day and go out and terrorize the folks that they swore to protect. Not only did they do that, one claimed ties to ISIS, the other one, they still trying to figure out what's going on with him. But when they go down his history list, man, he's decorated, man. This fool is an intelligent person. He works with bombs. The boy is decorated. You know what I'm saying? Decided to get a cybertruck and go in front of Trump Towers and blow that bill up. Come on now. Let's make this make sense, man. Now, let's switch over for a little bit. I remember the boy, Luigi or whatever his name is, did that shit in New York, right? They went on a straight manhunt for this dude for about a week. Couldn't tell you nothing, didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? But this shit here, within hours, oh, this is Lieutenant such and such, 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 and this is who he is. The fuck going on? How could soldiers of this caliber slip up under the radar and do some shit like that in the United States? See, some ain't adding up, folks. You know what I'm saying? See, it's a lot of shit going on right now, man. And I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to piece some of these puzzles to fucking together. But I can tell you one thing, a lot of this shit is distraction. Cause now this is taking up all the air, sucking up all the air in the room, taking it from them drones, taking that shit from what's going on in Russia. It's a lot of shit on the chessboard, man. And pieces being moved like a motherfucker. Like I told y'all, we look one way, boy, they done moved everything. Hey, man, y'all better pay attention to what's going on, man. This shit here is getting wicked. You hear me? Man, look at here. That's why I tell you, man, keep your head on the swivel, man. Because a lot of this shit, so y'all mean to tell me the military, the U.S. military is going rogue now? They're attacking citizens? This is what we come down to? Lord have mercy. But I'm just trying to figure this out, man. Because these dudes doing 15, 19, 20 years in the motherfucking military, and they just wake up on a good old New Year's Day, 2025, and decide to terrorize the streets. Make this shit make sense now. Look at the details and look how this shit unfolded. These folks telling you everything about these people, man. Where they rented that car from, where it was at. It was over there on the border of Mexico. Oh, they getting it from these rental places and shit. This time frame, that time frame, that time. Damn. How y'all know all that shit? Boy, look at here. Y'all step out though. Get it out the mud.
We have some major breaking news right now out of Washington, D.C., where the United States Capitol Police has just tweeted out, quote, "Our officers just responded to the area of Constitution Avenue and 3rd Street Northwest for a suspicious vehicle. Please avoid the area while we investigate." The U.S. Capitol Police is actively investigating a suspicious vehicle near the United States Capitol. The following roads are closed according to latest statement: Constitution Avenue between 1st Street Northeast and 3rd Street Northwest, 1st Street Northwest between Peace Circle Northwest and Garfield Circle Northwest, Pennsylvania Avenue between Peace Circle and 3rd Street Northwest, Louisiana Avenue between 1st Street Northwest and Constitution Avenue Northwest, and New Jersey Avenue between C Street Northwest and Constitution Avenue Northwest. The U.S. Capitol Police says that it will update us with more information as soon as they can release it. It's unclear what the security issue is, but there is a suspicious vehicle that is currently being investigated in Washington, D.C. near the United States Capitol. Comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along for all the news you need to know about. I'll update you once we have more. We have some really big breaking news right now. The FBI has confirmed the seizure of more than 150 pipe bombs from a Virginia home, the largest or one of the largest in the Bureau's history. This is unconnected to what happened in New Orleans and Las Vegas today, but it is still a major story nonetheless. More than 150 explosive devices, characterized as pipe bombs, were found in a home and garage on a 20-acre farm in Isle of Wight, Virginia. Brad Spafford, the owner of the home, was arrested on December 17th. Along with the explosives, investigators found bomb-making materials such as fuses, pieces of PVC pipe, and a jar of HMTD, which is a highly volatile explosive material. Agents also found explosives lists and recipes for making them, according to prosecutors. These were all made in a detention memo to keep Spafford behind bars. Now, his attorneys have argued that he should be released pending trial, telling the court he has no criminal history, no history of substance abuse or mental illness. This is still very concerning. Comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along to stay updated on all the news you need to know. We have major breaking news right now. Parts of I-85 in South Carolina are now closed due to a possible bomb threat from an 18-wheeler. This is what it currently looks like in South Carolina. This is in Greenville, South Carolina. As you can see, part of I-85 is literally shut down after a person driving an 18-wheeler said that he had a bomb on the truck. We really don't know much right now other than the fact that this man allegedly pulled over, got out of his truck, and told authorities that he had a bomb in the 18-wheeler. Authorities are advising residents in Greenville, South Carolina to stay away from this area on I-85 right now. It's a multi-agency response. We really don't know much much else. We don't know if the FBI is going to get involved and whether there is an actual threat or that this is just a man saying that he had a bomb on his truck. In any event, in light of what happened yesterday, this is highly concerning and something that people need to be aware of, especially if you live in South Carolina near Greenville. When we get more information, I will provide it to you, so be sure to follow along to be the first to know. More to come soon.
President-elect Donald Trump confirming that he is going to use the U.S. military to carry out his mass deportation policy. Trump saying on social media early this morning that reports he'll declare a national emergency are true.
What the fuck is this press conference? Like, I get some of you guys don't want to watch news, but days like this, you know what? Stop it. Sometimes the news is for you. At this point, I get not watching every day, but when it's shit like this live event, only TikTok and social media only can do so much. So anyway, back to the press conference. The senator went the fuck off. In so many words, he threatened the entire FBI and government force on live TV in so many words. Y'all guys gotta be street smart. Y'all gotta read between the lines what the fuck he was saying. He basically said, y'all, after your investigation, y'all better say something. Y'all better tell the truth about the American people or I'ma raise hell. All this type of wada. Like y'all fucking stole Christmas. Y'all better say something. What the fuck is he talking about? So whatever he was told before this press conference, he didn't have time to basically soak it in and basically digest his information. And he basically, in so many words, threatened the entire force that if y'all do not basically come clean about whatever y'all fucking found, he is going to raise hell. What the fuck did the FBI find? Like, I don't know. This is some movie. Like, I don't know. It just don't seem real. Then they come in with the USA Army guy who's like representing the United States Army because apparently, you know, he served in the United States Army. That was confirmed by the FBI. You have a whole the entire Louisiana mayor, police force, special, like they has the entire force. And what the fuck did y'all find? Like, at this point, I don't give a fuck about whose name. What the fuck did y'all find in this man's possession, this truck? Because the FBI also came out of nowhere after the police said they believe he's the lone wolf. They canceled the Sugar Bowl, which is basically one of the bigger events right after on New Year's Day. They canceled basically all outdoor things that's happening in New Orleans. Basically all got canceled today. They also, I gotta sit up for this shit. The FBI confirmed, basically backtracking what they said prior or what they fed the police, that they believe he is not the only person responsible for this attack. Meaning that, yes, they were influenced by ISIS. I think we can all confirm that bullshit. But that's basically saying is another person on the fucking run that they do not have. Because they don't have that person's name. But whatever they fucking found in that man's truck, house, you already know they raided his Texas house already. Or whatever hotel he was staying at that time in Louisiana. Whatever the fuck they found in that man's possession, obviously that man is deceased now because he shot at police and all that kind of stuff. Is a whole video out on the social media. You've seen this shooting happen of how he passed away. Police got him down. Whatever they fucking found got the entire state basically in so many words on shutdown. Like all festivals shut down. Like what the fuck did y'all find? Like what the fuck?
So I just found out I have a connection to the guy who set off the bomb in front of Trump Tower in the cybertruck. Let's rewind about 5 minutes. So we just learned that both the guy who rammed into the crowd with the rented Cybertruck in New Orleans was an Army veteran, and we also just learned that the guy who blew up the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower was also an Army veteran. So what is the difference between the two? Well, the one who blew up the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower was a Green Beret at a 10th Special Forces group. So that's where my connection comes in. I was in 5th Special Forces group. Now, while the SF community is very small, I did not know this guy, and we may have connections on social media. I have no idea. I'd have to look. But I did not know him. I don't know any of his friends, and I have no idea why he did this. That being said, let me tell you something. The very mission the Green Beret was founded for was to conduct unconventional warfare to disrupt and overthrow enemy governments or occupying powers. Let that sink in.
Here's your new rabbit hole to jump down, folks. In 1952, the Great Smog of London happened. So what the specialists, or whatever the hell you want to call them, they said it was caused from unusual cold weather, no wind, and it picked up pollution particles in the air. and it blanketed the whole city literally into darkness. Okay, you can do your research. I've already done mine, and I got my ideas on what I think's going to happen. So here we are. All this shit's happening. We've all seen the videos with the particles in the air. All right, so there's your first rabbit hole. The next one is electricity. A woman had a video yesterday that the United States runs off of 3 hubs. So if they were to shut one of them down, it would literally cut off 1/3 of the United States from electricity. What if they were to hit all 3 of them, folks? You know, a major terrorist attack? It would put the whole country into darkness. Was this done by design? Go and dive down deep into that hole. Because I remember here a little over 20 years ago that we were shut into darkness for 2 days when the hub up in New Jersey blew a transformer. Now I'm in the state of Florida. Imagine that. Okay? Start diving, folks, because it's coming fast like this weekend. Y'all have a good night.